Hello and welcome to the FOGS Queenslander Podcast, our review of Origin 1, of course, won by Queensland 38 points to 10, joined by Wally Lewis, Trevor Gillmeister and Matt Gillett. And gentlemen, your initial thoughts on that 28-point win at Accor Stadium?
Hard not to be impressed. I thought it was a wonderful team effort. Quite often we've seen individual performances leading the way for the Maroons. But I thought it was quite exceptional. They were given extra emphasis, I guess, to make it painful for New South Wales after a terrible injury. But it's just a typical Queensland performance where they showed guts and determination.
I think too. I agree with Wal, but I think the big thing is too, like to beat them down there, and we have was it one other time? It's a fair while since we've beaten them down there, so I think that's a really good confidence booster for the team and Billy, and obviously keeping their feet on the ground now. It'll be part of the preparation.
Yeah, back up what the boys have said there. A great start for us, and going down to New South Wales and enemy territory. It's great to come away with that first win, but I know Bill and the team won't dive into actually what happened throughout that game. Some big news coming out of the game and some big incidents, so can't get too carried away.
That's Origin though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. It's again, it's a bit of breathing space for Queensland and Bill and the team, but I know, Bill's focus will be resetting and making sure these boys are ready down in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, the incident you're talking about, of course, is the send-off of Joseph Suaalii after just 8 minutes. It had a huge impact on the game. There's no question about that. It might have changed the scoreline. I don't think it changed the result because I think Queensland was the better side, even if it was 13-12. But your thoughts on the send-off, Wal?
I thought it was just a pretty simple decision to make. Contact was made. And we've seen the NRL try to crack down as much as possible on illegal play. He got caught in a terrible position, and his head rocked back. And I think it was probably made look a little bit worse. It looked like he was sort of slipping right at the start, and he was going backwards. Contact was made, and as much as the referee probably thought, well, the game's only just started, wouldn't be good to send a player off now. He made the decision, and I think it was the one that Rugby League likes to try and promote, that there is no illegal tackles welcome in a game, despite it being at the greatest height. State of Origin football is regarded as the real tough place to do it.
I think I agree with Walden. I said in the 80s it would have been play on. The 90s.
You used to do that a bit, Gil?
Sorry?
You used to do something like that.
No.
Yeah.
I was not.
That's why you like.
I think Gil,
You've said your piece, Wally.
Did you get well once, did you?
Well,
Did
Gilly
you get it?
Gilly used to have this plan that if you're going to tackle around the head, you can't run without a head.
Yeah.
I only used to do what the captain told me to do. Yes. Yeah. And I do agree. And like the 80s, not even the 90s, it would have been a 50-50.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, mate, it's a send off every day of the week.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go down and watch the game live, and just to see Reece laying there the way he was quite scary. And when the moment happened, and the crowd was quite silent, and the big call to set him off, but the right decision. It's a big match.
Do you think that I was a bit surprised that no one, and I know the game so fast that no one. I went up to Joseph and give him a bit of a maybe I didn't see that on the TV.
There was a little bit when they obviously it slowed down a bit, and all the boys caught up to the play. There was a little bit of that, but again, if you throw a punch down,
I know you can't do anything about it. But anyway.
There was a bloke that sprayed him on his walk off the field, wasn't there?
Was that Nate? Was
well, as painful as it was for New South Wales, I think they were realistic and they knew where we were sitting in the box. Calling it for radio, we had a couple of guys stood up and they were in the full sky blue outfit, and one guy just stood up and went with the finger across. He's gone. So I think as painful as it was going to be, they knew. We've had this. We've tried to get rid of incidents like this out of rugby league to make it a safer game and to entice more kids at a younger age. And so I thought that was certainly a very common sense decision for that reason.
Yeah, 4 games. He'll cop Suaalii for that high tackle. How did you think Queensland reacted to the fact that New South Wales were one man down? Did you think they got a little bit excited and maybe overplayed it?
Yeah, I did. I think they did a little bit. And like going forward a bit, the second half, I think they tried to shut up shop and just control their lead. You know what I mean? Like, and just go, well, righto, we're in front, so we don't need to score. So long as we hold them out, you know what I mean? And there was about, I reckon, that 15, 20-minute mark into the second half, it was a change attack. And they just went, okay, we got to play footy now. Yep. I don't know if something come down and tell them, Billy told them that, and Elf went out. But, yeah, there was a change attack, no doubt about it.
Yeah, well, obviously when that incident happened, they had to reshuffle, and Liam Martin was out in centre, so I think they got a bit excited and they could chance their arm. I think actually Nico Hines went and defended at centre, which he did.
One stage he was on the wing.
Yeah, so I think they've seen a weakness there, but again, they were just playing
too excited.
There comes a few errors here and there. Jaden saw a few errors and probably pushed it a bit too much. But
is that the hardest position, losing a centre, to try and overcome defensively? Is that a big key?
Yeah, well, they ended up putting Stephen Crichton over to that side, which strengthened it quite well, and they didn't have much joy there. But centre, it's quite key. If they would have had,
well, he's one of the best defenders in the centres.
Yes,
he probably is the best defender. Yeah.
So, what impressed you most about Queensland Wall last night?
I thought it was the stability that they produced. Certainly, with the New South Wales one man down, Queensland may have got a little bit carried away and thought, let's go and out attack them. I thought the effort New South Wales put in was quite remarkable. They busted a butt. They were doing their level best to try and make sure they made life as uncomfortable for Queensland. And our guys didn't get carried away, which I thought was good. It was still a tough task and a very hard job that they had to put in place. So I thought it was very, very sensible in the way that they did it. Every time we had the ball close to our line, I thought we defended really well in those periods. But we got to work the ball away, and it was quite sensible that they were trying to keep the ball in play rather than kick it out.
Slow it down.
Have a slight slowdown in the play. So that I thought was very good guidance from DCE. He had a wonderful game last night. I thought that was very impressive from him, and it was one of those ones where I've always had this thing that you dictate terms to the opposition. You make them play the way you want them to, and to fit in with your game. And I thought it was a wonderful performance from Daly.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with Wal about Daly, and Benny Hunt too. They're getting better with age. Unbelievable, yes, and it was so good actually. Not when they went down to 12 men, but we didn't care. But I think those two righted the ship. Because we were losing our way a little bit, and then I think Benny Hunt and DCE just went, hey, come on, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do two to the right or one to the left, and stuff like that. I think they their leadership and their maturity helped us out no end.
Yeah, mate, I agree with both the boys there, but I think turning the New South Wales boys away so many times on our line, defending our line, and then getting that ball back down to the other end quite easily. So it just showed the determination on the boys that if they defend strong, the next set, they're just going to get to the kick long and make New South Wales make the errors. Because we've seen on the stats and all those key errors, we're all behind the 8 ball there, no favours for us. So for our boys to keep showing up, and New South Wales had plenty of opportunities. They're putting us under the pump for a long time there, and we just kept turning them around. And again, some key moments in this game that we fronted up and made it count.
Well, let's have a look at some of those stats, because they do make for interesting reading. The fact that Queensland dominated the game, but not necessarily statistically.
Yeah, so obviously we can see with the stats here, New South Wales more possession than us, 53 to 47%. A lot more offloads. We had 14 to 6. Just that possession rate, like we just talked about before. They had plenty of opportunity, the New South Wales boys, and with ball in hand, but they just looked a bit lost out there and a bit of direction with their halves. So, and those big moments when you need to put points on, you need to do it in the Origin arena. I think once we had our chances, we took them and we iced them and come away with points. Whereas New South Wales just couldn't seem to get their connections right on the night.
Interesting, Gillett, too. Like, we had 7 line breaks to their 1. You know what I mean? Which is, that's a big stat. That you know what I mean. So, and the missed tackles, or ineffective tackles, we had 20 to their 9. So that's a bit baffling for me as well.
And more errors. So there's
more errors.
And there's plenty for Billy to work on into game 2, so that there is no sense of, okay, we've won 38-10, we're going to Melbourne, then
That's
Brisbane.
Right,
Billy can point out a few things, can't he?
No doubt about that.
Billy's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
He loves
He wouldn't
to
like
go
that.
in.
He wouldn't like some of them stats.
He probably didn't sleep last night looking at breaking down the game. This way.
And considering we had an extra man, and
Yeah.
it still finished up like that, I'm sure that it gives him good reason next time around to show this to the players and be quite critical of them. He's got a couple of weeks to have a look at that game, and after seeing and talking to him about what he does post-match, I reckon he'll watch this game 20 times.
Yep.
He'll get there and he'll watch it over and over and over and look at it from a different angle, how they handle this sort of thing, how their defence was, how they attack from deep inside their own territory. He'll try and make sure that everything is in place. He's an absolute perfectionist. And
it'll all blur into one after watching it 5 times. Like I remember doing stuff with the Cardi with the Titans and the middles and that we do it, and I'll just go after a while. I'll just go, mate.
Bill's he's all about those finer details and the boys' preparation and the key areas of the game. So he'll fine tune a lot of that stuff and get some feedback to the boys, which they're gonna have to take on board, and they're gonna be better. We're gonna have to perform better than we did.
Well, in the preview we spoke with Gene Miles. He was a guest here, and he explained why Selvin Cobbo was on the bench, which caused a little bit of controversy.
He said that was his decision. He made the call on that one.
And he brought up the HIA and how the game has changed. The HIA has such a big role, and I don't think they expected it after 7 minutes or 8 minutes. But it just shows you how you play the planning of Billy Slater and that team.
Oh, well, you're right. Billy's plan. He would have had an idea, and you take a look at Selwyn, the size of the bloke. He can play front row. He's as big as.
I was hoping he would. He was going in the front row. Would have been nice.
Oh, I have
a bit more respect.
My days, if I had gone in there to play in front row and second row, Gilly would have just said, "Finally, you blokes in the back shoe showmen, you're in where the hard work's done in here."
Well, he's certainly bigger than Reuben Cotter.
Oh, he is. He is. He's got that size and he's got the power when he runs. And I was very pleased with the game he played. He only made that one mistake under the high ball, and he just got to the stage where it's quite rewarding to have a bloke of his size, of his power, and able to cover so many positions.
And
the game's changed. I mean, 30, 40 years ago, that couldn't have happened. Going to play front row, second row, but
and there was a lot of question marks too, Wal, about Selwyn being on on the bench as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, look, one thing too, Cowboys fans must have been cringing in some respects. Their players that were out of form were terrific last night. And one of their former players was terrific. They must cringe every time they watch the hammer go around, not only for the Dolphins, but last night he was just superb. A hat-trick. It was as bad as good a performance you can put in without being man of the match.
He's a natural footy player. We all see that, and we've seen that when he first started playing at the Cowboys, and now he's the marquee player down at the Dolphins, and even for this Maroons team, he's going great. But to be tossed in there early in the game, and it didn't faze him to go straight back to full.
That's super impressive though. He had 12 runs, come up with 3 tackle busts, and still chalked up 183 metres.
Yes. Probably in second gear too.
And 3 tries.
Boy, that's he got those. A couple of them were through the creativity of guys inside him to be able to help him. But that is a stat I think that the New South Wales team will be looking at and saying, if we don't stop this bloke, we're due for another loss.
And he's always got a smile on his face too, and he loves.
He just glides when he's
so comfortable out there, doesn't he?
I don't think I've seen a guy so comfortable and so smooth when he runs with the ball. He's super impressive.
And we saw the importance of a good leader, good halfback Daly Cherry
Yeah,
Evans'
yeah,
experience.
yeah.
No disrespect to Nico Hines, who is still early in his representative career, but he was surrounded by debutants and a new coach and etc. Where Daly Cherry Evans, Queensland had one, Jermaine Hopgood, and DCE, player of the match. As you said, Gilly just gets better with age.
Oh, unbelievable. Obviously he just guides the team around. Work with him a fair bit, and I just know he doesn't rant and rave, but he knows his strengths and how good is his kicking game.
Yeah.
I mean, they know he's going for that. They know he's going for those 40-20. So the wingers and the fullback are always on edge, aren't they? So they're running backward and forward. So they're burning up gas too when they're doing that. So that's a really good thing.
A couple of impressive stats in there. He had 6 runs. I thought he had a couple more than that, but to be able to chalk up 105 metres in those runs is super. But it was the metres that he made. His kicking game, I've sort of thought that I've never really noticed it all that much, but take that into perspective. 427 metres from his kicks. That guaranteed, and it was at a stage where I'm sure we all thought the same thing. New South Wales are buggered.
Yeah.
They're going to be stuffed with 12 men every time you
turn
give them the
them
ball.
around,
Turn them around, put them right back on their own try line if they could, and that happened with almost monotonous regularity. And you could see the Blues thinking, "Hang on a minute, Christ, we've got to take the ball away from our own line again." We've got to try and come up with a play that's going to score us a try, but we can't do it this one because we're starting off on our own line. If we take a gamble and throw the ball around, well, it might offer another opportunity to the Maroons, and that was very well controlled by the skipper.
You're definitely right there, Gil. I think kicking long into those corners and making New South Wales come out of their own end, and as Queensland has always prided themselves on is their defence and showing up for each other, and they just kept doing that. And Cherry Evans obviously leads that, and he just keeps getting better. Like we mentioned before, him and Benny Hunt, that combination they have together and to steer that team around. I think having so much youth in the team now coming through, gets a bit exciting for players like DCE and Benny Hunt and those sort of boys. That brings them to life a bit more, and they obviously need some guidance there on the paddock, but they've got some great coaching staff there as well to lead the way.
You could argue the best football's been played after the age of 30 potentially as well for those two, but there are certain players that are born to play Origin, and Pat Carrigan to me is just one of those players that is an Origin player. That term, an Origin player, and Pat Carrigan, once again, only played 60 minutes, which doesn't, in this day and age is about par, but he could have been out there for 80 and still been terrific.
Yeah, I was again, lucky enough to be down there last night and watching these boys live, and the way our middle forwards were going around about their business was quite impressive. Each set, Paddy or Lindsay had two hit-ups each on the field, and they're always looking to do something, whether push support or it's an inside push play or whatever it is. But they always, obviously, they're out there to get the meters, take those meters, take the tough tackles, get up, play the ball, and keep doing that for the team.
Well, you're right, Jello, because a lot of people, watching the game don't see the push up on the inside or the outside to hold that one defender again, hold him there. Yep. And then obviously gets one-on-one, sometimes and makes another 5-10 metres.
Those little efforts.
100% right it is. And the average person wouldn't even see that. No. You know what I mean? So, and that's the beauty. I want to play with a bloke who you're 3 or 4 metres off your line and he wants the ball. He wants the ball. And you're going to get smashed. You know you're going to get smashed. And you're going to make 2 metres.
That's right. It's about what you're going to do for that next person.
I'm not too fussed really on the metres gained these days, because if you hit the ball off a kick-off, you get 30 metres straight up. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the bloke I want to play with, Wally's, and he did it plenty of times, and we're on our line, and they're humming, they're ready, set to give it to you, and go, I'm going to get this.
Just take the medicine.
That's the bloke you want to play with.
Yeah, 100% right, mate, there.
Lindsay Collins, one of those players?
Yes, he is. And obviously, Tino, Flegler, so he had to really step up, Lindsay, and I've been a fan of his for a while now, and he, what a skillful big fella he is as well. Who can forget that try last year? I've heard it 50 times off him, but but yeah, I mean that's what he had to do because the forwards obviously did what they had to do, and the likes of Hammer and Selwyn and them, they get the benefits of it.
Well, you look at those stats, over 120 metres in basically half a game.
Yeah. But
at Origin level,
it was that first 20 minutes, so he set it up. And 2 missed tackles. That's pretty good for a bloke in the middle. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Minutes played. That was probably the one that did surprise me a little bit. I thought he played a bit longer than that. But anyway, they managed to share the workload around Queensland.
Well, a couple of the best players we've spoken about earlier. Hammer, a hat-trick, is in elite company now of scoring 3 tries in an Origin match. What impressed you the most about his performance last night, Matt?
Obviously, we grow up and kids these days all about tack and what they do well with the ball and score the tries and all those sort of things. But for me, it was in that game where he held up Big Spencer, tries over there, comes sliding in. So again, who has the thought process to slide in like that, get under that ball and hold him up? Because that could have been a bit of a turning point for us. They score there. Obviously, it puts a bit more pressure on the Queensland team. But obviously, Hammer brilliant in attack, but those little efforts in defence, and that's something that they'll highlight in their video session come
they had a bit of
two.
momentum then too, Gillett, didn't
yes,
they?
Mate, yeah. So they're bouncing around and Luai's doing what he does. So there's a bit of again with their New South Wales attack last night. This is pretty much what they're doing. They were a bit disorganised and didn't have much structure or much leadership out there in where they wanted to go. So you can see Hammer there sliding. It's just it's perfect. It's like he knew it was going to happen and gets under that ball and. Spencer's obviously a big, powerful forward too, so he's done very well there.
And the other bloke in the tackle, Pat Carrigan.
And now for something completely different.
And those sorts of moments not only lift a side, but they also demoralise the opposition, particularly when you're down to 12 and you think you might have got over and scored, and all of a sudden, held up, go back and play the ball. It can be just very deflating.
One of the things that I thought stood out in that last scene was actually the look upon the New South Wales guys' faces. Had the opportunity to look at it, and you could see they were all jumping up and down. They thought, here's try. Yep, you beauty. Celebrations have started. No try. Go back and play it. You could see the shoulders drop.
The roller coaster ride.
And the next couple of tackles, it was, well, they've stopped us again.
And Gilly, you spoke about wanting to play with a player who hits it up 2 metres, 4 metres off the line, only gains 2 metres. One of your key moments last night, Matt, wasn't it? Was a hit up from Selwyn Cobbo deep inside the 20 of Queensland.
It was right before Benny Hunt had come back on the field, and they're putting a bit of pressure on us here. Hammer does well to get that ball away. We could have been doing a dropout, but this play here coming out of our trouble, out of our end, in a bit of trouble there. New South Wales don't move up. Cobbo finds some space, gets up. That's the sort of players that you want to get out of your outside backs when those forwards are very tired and come out. You turn around and you got Cobbo's got the ball in his hands coming back, and then Benny Hunt does what he's been doing for a long time.
He's quite remarkable, Ben.
He's just come on the field then, so he's very fresh.
And I remember sitting there pretty much straight in front in the com box and looking at him thinking, he'll get hammered here, and no, he's got through. How did he do that? And the left-hand fend came out, only made just a little bit of contact, but it was in the right position at the right time. And his performance, and it's on the similar side of the field as we had here at Suncorp Stadium, where he scored the virtual length of the field try, where here we go again. We got the goosebumps from that when he
well, he
performed
beat a couple of fair defenders too.
There's three missed tackles there.
And Teddy,
Teddy doesn't miss too many at the back. He was in a little bit of a tough decision-making process there of, do I move in? Do I leave him with the guy that looks like he's got him? Support players in operation. So, but that's a wonderful example of Queensland's determination and their will to win.
And the way he raced in there to acting half and directed Selwyn Cobbo straight away, stay out. And the clear thinking was terrific from Ben Hunter, as I said, just seems to get better. Well, there'll be no Reece Walsh this weekend, and for the next 2 games for the Brisbane Broncos, he's been ruled out with that Category 1, so he may not play again until the game in Melbourne. So no football until then. Other players, it'll be just dribs and drabs over the weekend. I think the Dragons You will decide later on,
Benny Hunt.
Benny Hunt, whether he plays, and something. Zach Lomax had over 200 metres
he had a fair
on
game,
debut. He had a fair game as well.
He's a winger.
He'll be right.
He'll be right.
What New South Wales side do you reckon Queensland will be up against? Will Latrell come back? Will they keep Robson, Abby Coruscant? Did Tedesco do enough, or does Dylan Edwards come back, or do you not care at all?
Moses.
Yeah, Moses could. I'd be very surprised if Latrell doesn't come back.
He's a big game player, isn't he?
He's a big game player. We've just been talking about a winger with size and what he's able to do to destroy the opposition defence, and that's what Latrell's got.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what reasons the New South Wales selectors had to leave him out of the side, but I've seen him on many occasions absolutely demolish an opposition defensive line. He's got power, he's got speed, he's got determination. Apparently, on radio, one of the guys said that it was his attitude that he didn't get selected in the side. Well, it might be a poor attitude as well from a selector that didn't recognise the strength that he's displayed.
That bloke.
Well, leave it at that.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, gentlemen, final thoughts on Queensland's performance. Out of 10, give it a rating, and how much improvement do you expect for Game 2?
I'll give us a 7.5. Yeah, we'll need to improve. There's no doubt, and the stats prove that. And I'm not big on stats, but that obviously too many mistakes with the ball, way more than New South Wales, and a few more ineffective tackles as well. So I think they're the two key points that Billy will be looking at.
Well,
it'd be quite interesting to know what Billy is looking for, but he's a perfectionist, and he will regard as good as it is to win the game. We made 6 or 7 bad errors that offered an opportunity to New South Wales. So I very much doubt that he'll have a look at it. Players, well, it's going to depend as well on who's fit. 2 more games to get through. But I thought to encourage the side certainly will be fairly easy for him to do. He'll be looking for as close to that exact side. Injuries are probably
injuries the only thing.
Injuries are the only thing, Mark, and you can't predict when they're going to happen, who they're going to happen to, and we've just got to cross our fingers and hope that it remains that way, because we were playing away from home last night, but we're going to be playing, although it's not distance-wise, we're going to be playing a much tougher game next time around.
I think New South Wales will go. We were down on, troops. We only had 12
pull
men.
out the violin.
And the coach will do that. He'll say, mate, listen, we still scored a couple of tries and fairly effective in this area and that area because we had 12 men. So I think they'll go on that.
And like the thing that we sort of forget about it is a change of coach. The Blues. I think it'll probably take. They'll be much better off this time around.
Good point.
Trying to adjust, and he'll tell them. He'll feel a lot more comfortable then in telling them the points of disappointment for each and every player and their inability to fit into the game plan the way that he wanted them to. So if there was some hard language used, there'll be a lot more this time around, because it's put up or shut up. Lose this one, series is over.
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll be Game 2 in Melbourne. And keep an eye out for our preview of Origin 2. The FOGS Queenslander podcast will be back with that preview. The game is on the 26th of June. Our preview, and the chairman of selectors will be back with us, Gene Miles, to be boasting about his decision to have Selwyn Cobbo on the bench. Look out on June 17. We'll have our preview of that game, Game 2 in Melbourne. On behalf of Wally Lewis, Trevor Gillmeister, Matt Gillett, I'm Mark Braybrook. It's goodbye for now.